modern day gladiator has to ask myself, am I still willing to die? Absolutely, that's easy. It's, are you willing to kill a man?
It's all going to come down to the mental. Dricus in this fight has both the intangible and tangible advantages. The intangible being the mental, and the tangible being the actual fight technicals. But first, let's compare the mental, because I think in this fight, the mental is going to be the determining factor more than their skill. And I'll explain why. And here is Dricus's mental in his recent interview, one of his recent interviews.
You have to be willing to die when you get in there. That's true. You have to. But that's a minimum requirement. The harder part here is, can you kill a man when you have to? Yes, I can. So I'm willing to die and I'm willing to take a life.
I mean, like,
I
actually
know
believe it in your
that.
mind. Yeah, you know that.
I know that. When I go in there, if there's no ref, the ref doesn't stop it, I'm not stopping. I can be sitting on you for 10 minutes, bashing your face. You know, if the ref doesn't say stop, I'm not stopping. And that is the question that me as a modern day gladiator has to ask myself, am I still willing to die? Absolutely, that's easy. It's, are you willing to kill a man in front of his family? Yes, I am. And that's why I'm the world champion.
Okay, he's Mamba. Mamba Du Plessis. He's got the killer instinct. Name all the greats. Jordan, Kobe. He's got the Mamba. Tom Brady. If you're not from the US, pick your greats. Ronaldo, Messi. I think Ronaldo over Messi. Ibrahimovic. But pick your great. They all had that killer in them. They all had that killer instinct. And Dricus has that at the highest level. He just said he has no problem to end the life in front of their family. That's a savage mindset. Now compare that to Sean. Let's see what Sean has to say.
Curse of being an abused kid. You are born with natural low self-esteem. Like, it doesn't matter what you do in life, you always look at yourself like a failure. If I have a cool stoppage, I might watch a highlight of it to repost, but like, no, I just do low self-esteem. Even when I'm doing things right, in my head, I'm doing things wrong.
Okay, what is that? Now, let's give Sean props for actually acknowledging all that. Okay, it actually takes a strong person, strong man, strong woman, strong human being to actually acknowledge all that. Especially as a man, to put his ego aside and acknowledge it. But there's levels, guys. Compared to Dricus, his mentality is victimhood mentality. It's not as strong as Dricus's. He doesn't have that killer instinct. And if you look at their fight styles, the way they approach the fight, their fighting style actually reflects their mentality, their actual true mentality. One fighter in Dricus, he's only got 2 decisions. Always goes for the finish. He's always attacking. So it accurately reflects his mindset.
Let's not go and act as if Sean Strickland fights are entertaining. The man has 8 split decision victories. Well, 8 split decisions in his 6 victories, 2 losses against me and Cannonier. That is not somebody that's looking for an exciting fight. Split decision means it's a very close fight. And that has to say something. I have 2 decisions over my whole career. Split decision is because he's not doing anything to prove that he's winning that fight, but he's not doing anything that to make him lose the fight.
Do you mean he's fighting not to lose?
He's fighting not to lose.
As opposed to fighting to win.
He's good at frustrating people. He prioritizes defense over offense, and I prioritize offense because I'm there to give the people that spend their hard-earned money on pay-per-views and arena tickets a show, a fight. And I'm in there to kill someone. I'm not in there to point my way to victory. And I think that's where the biggest difference between us comes. And
Sean, on the other hand, he's always fighting not to lose, point fighting, jabs and heaps, no matter what he tells us. Sometimes he talks the talk, doesn't walk the walk ever. Very rarely. Fights defensively, which nothing wrong with that. But compared to Dricus, it ain't the same. No matter what he tells us. I'm going to go to war. His wars are his sparring matches. Now, you might be wondering, hey, Sean's got a pretty good mental too, and he does. I'm just comparing it to Dricus. Compared to Dricus, it's not that. There's levels, guys. You know, you might be saying, well, Sean rattled Izzy, rattled a lot of his opponents. He's got a strong mental, yes. He rattled Izzy, yes. But the difference is, Dricus rattled both Izzy and Sean. Dricus made Sean cry. He made Izzy cry. There's levels, guys. And why do I say the mental is going to be the most important or the more important factor in this fight? It's the same reason I said it in the Shavkat Ian Gary matchup, where I said Ian Gary might have all the skills, have the skill advantage, but those skill gaps are close. It's going to be very evenly matched, where you got to look at the mental side. Who's got the mental advantage? And Shavkat has the mental advantage over Ian by far. He was the Mamba in that fight, the apex. And same thing over here. Skill gaps, Sean might be more skilled, but they're more evenly matched than we assume, or most people assume. Sean has more skill, yes, on the feet especially. On the ground, I think it's Dricus, but the gaps are slow. They're evenly matched. So you got to look at the mental. The mental is going to be the determining factor. And Dricus has the mental advantage by far. Now, one other thing that Dricus also has the advantage, Eric Nixick, Sean's coach, head coach, has said that Sean has to mix it up with the wrestling and grappling. If he wants to win this fight, he has to be more aggressive. He has to go for it, take more risks, but also he's got to mix it up. And then what does Sean say after that? He comes out and makes a plea with Dricus and tells Dricus to keep the fight on the feet like men. Keep the fight on the feet, don't wrestle, let's fight like men. More or less, I'm paraphrasing. And Dricus' response was, there's no pacts between lion and man. I mean, of course he'd say that. But why is he making that plea? When your coach said that you got to mix up your wrestling and grappling, why are you making that plea? Now, I don't think he's scared necessarily, because fight one, Dricus would take him down, but Sean has really good scrambling ability. He would scramble back to his feet, no problem. Dricus was really never a threat on the ground. But it didn't look good on the judges' scorecard. So maybe that's what he's worried about. If Dricus pressures him with the wrestling, constant wrestling, he's going to take him down a few times. Sean's going to scramble to his feet, no problem. So he's not worried there that he's going to get finished on the ground. No, he's got really good jiu-jitsu and good scrambling ability. He's got pretty good wrestling as well. But if he gets taken down a couple times here and there and Dricus constantly pressures him with the wrestling, it's not going to look good on the judges' scorecard. So maybe he's worried. Again, it's just a mental... It just diminishes him mentally compared to Dricus. Dricus will never make that plea. And one other thing, he never wanted to fight in Australia because of the government. He doesn't want to be there. But given the opportunity, he's going to take the fight, of course. That's another thing. It might be very slight. It might be on a subconscious level. It might seem like it doesn't matter consciously, but subconsciously, the fact that he never wanted to be there, I mean, compounded with everything else, I think it might play a factor. Who knows? Now with the technicals. The most important thing with the technical, and this actually, I think it might be an overlap between the intangible and tangible, between the mental and the actual technical, but I think it's the most important thing. What do we hear from Sean's sparring partners? People who have sparred him multiple times. They all say the same thing. When they fight Sean the first time, they have trouble with his unorthodox timing and rhythm and style. Okay, they get mollywopped. But after that, the second and third and subsequent times they spar or fight Sean, it becomes easier and easier. They solve that rhythm, they solve the timing, and they have more success. Given the fact that Dricus has already fought Sean once, why wouldn't it be any different than all the other fighters and people who have sparred Sean would be saying? Why wouldn't Dricus have an easier time knowing his rhythm and timing, his style? Now with the actual technicals, one, he's going to make more adjustments, okay? He might not necessarily have more tools, but he utilizes more tools, grappling and on the feet. And Sean is a very one-dimensional fighter. He's got a lot of skills, but he doesn't utilize all the skills. He just utilizes just boxing and kickboxing. So what adjustment is he going to do? Sean has said, along with Eric Nixick, that he's got to be more aggressive. So we might see Sean be more aggressive, but I think that also favors Dricus, because the more aggressive Sean is, it's going to leave openings for Dricus to level change a lot more, go for a lot more takedowns. Okay, Sean's going to be pushing forward, trying to jab cross his way into Dricus at the same time while he's moving forward with punching combinations. He's going to be open to a level change. So I see Dricus taking Sean down a lot more or pressuring him a lot more with the wrestling. Exactly what Sean pleaded Dricus not to do, I see Dricus doing. One thing Dricus can't do, which he did in the first fight, which almost cost him, and which is the reason why his face looked like a Botox malpractice.
What is that?
Okay? He can't stand there stationary with a high closed guard trying to block the jabs from Strickland. He can't do that because he was getting that guard split. You can't do that with 4-ounce gloves. He was getting that guard split, and at times where he was blocking, he was pretty much punching himself in the face. The impact from Sean's jabs and punches was still having an effect. Dricus has acknowledged that mistake, so we can assume he's not going to do that. His approach probably going to be more level changing. So I think Dricus is going to be the fighter who made more adjustments, or who can make more adjustments given their style, because Sean's style doesn't change, never changes. His style don't change. His approach to fights don't change. He's going to be defensive. He's going to throw jabs and teeps. One other thing, technically, I looked at the Abus fight. Yeah, the Abus fight where Sean actually had one of his only finishes, because Abus had no gas tank, had no endurance. Bro gassed out after like half a round. But in round one, Abus won that round dominantly. And what was Abus doing? He was on the offensive. He was throwing a lot of kicks. He was using Sean's tools against him. He was throwing a lot of teeps and body kicks from southpaw, though. Abus was also on the offensive, on the front foot. He was leading in with overhand. And if you look at the Dricus Strickland first fight, Dricus was coming up short with his overhands. He was jabbing from the high guard and then following up with overhand that was missing. He had no distance management. His range management sucked in that fight. Dricus actually adjusted later on. He was catching Sean with the overhand, with the right overhand, when he was leading with it. So maybe Dricus is going to go to southpaw, take a page from their first fight, where that lead right overhand catches Sean when you're in range. Move forward, slip the jab, maybe drop the jab with a feint, and then come in with a lead overhand. That right overhand seems to catch Sean. I think it's going to go to a decision, but if there's any fighter who is going to finish the other fighter, it's going to be Dricus, because Sean doesn't really have knockout power. What's he going to do? Dricus has pretty good gas tank, so he's not going to just gas out where Sean just pounces on him like he did with Abus. He's not going to submit him. There's no way that's happening. If Sean wins, it's going to be decision. But if Dricus wins, it's probably going to be decision, because Sean is really defensive, has a really good chin. But if any fighter has the chance to get the finish, it's going to be Dricus. He's got knockout power. He also utilizes grappling and jiu-jitsu a lot more too. So if it's going to be finished, I think it'll probably be like a Dricus TKO. 4th or 5th round in the championship rounds, when they're both tired. But I see this fight going to decision. So yeah, guys, let me know what you think. And I'm going to go into the Tatiana Suarez, Zhang Weili real quick. With that fight, guys, this started as a plus 150 for Tatiana. Tatiana was a massive underdog last month. One of my subs notified me with one of the comments. He's like, dude, what do you think about the Tatiana being a plus 155 or 150 underdog? I said, I don't know. That sounds like too good to be true, because Tatiana should win that fight. Maybe she's injured. So I didn't think anything of it. I said, I'll just wait till the week of the fight. And now she's a minus 120. Last time I checked, she's a minus 120 favorite. So a complete flip-flop from plus 155 underdog to minus 120. And she should be, because her wrestling is elite. Tatiana Suarez has the best wrestling in WMMA. She has good wrestling, good top control, great submissions. Tatiana Suarez is the Ronda Rousey, what we thought Ronda Rousey was before she got exposed. Tatiana Suarez is her, okay? She's bigger and stronger as well than Weili. And also, on the other hand, with Weili, her wrestling defense is overrated. She gets taken down pretty much every fight. Her last fight, she dominated, but she got taken down. Esparza took her down twice in the first round before getting submitted, or I forget how that fight ended. I think she got submitted. Weili submitted Esparza, but Esparza took her down, got reversed. Esparza didn't have too much control. But Tatiana ragdolled Esparza. Ragdolled her. And from what I remember, I'm pretty sure that's what happened. And the other thing with Weili, more importantly, she has no scrambling ability. Rose took her down 3 times in their second fight. But the 5th round, Rose took her down early on and just stayed there. Controlled her pretty much effectively for the entire round. When Weili gets taken down and is in her guard, on her back, she has no scrambling ability, or she doesn't try to get up. I don't know. But I'm going to go with what I see. And what I see is Weili does not have great scrambling ability, and her wrestling defense is probably improved, but it's not up to par with Tatiana's wrestling offense. Tatiana is going to take her down. So, and once she takes her down, Tatiana has really good top control. Mix that in with Weili's lack of scrambling. Dude, Tatiana's going to ragdoll her. Ragdoll her and control her. Now, how she loses, because there is the flip side, why she loses. Tatiana is very inactive. She doesn't have championship 5-round experience. So we don't know what her endurance is going to be like. What's her gas tank like? Especially being inactive and not having that 5-round experience. We don't know. So if she doesn't manage to get the finish in the first 1, 2, 3 rounds, I think she's probably going to gas out rounds 4 and 5. She'll probably lose those rounds. But I still think Weili has to finish it, because rounds 1 through 3, she's conditioned. Tatiana's conditioned to fight 3 rounds. So she's probably going to win ragdoll. Or not. Okay, let's give Weili some respect. She's going to take down Weili and control her the first 3 rounds. So I think Tatiana is comfortably going to win rounds 1, 2, and 3. And rounds 4 and 5 she loses because her endurance isn't there. So worst case, I still don't see Weili winning. Unless she somehow wins one of the first 3 rounds. But that's the way Tatiana would lose, is because she doesn't have the endurance. There's also a pretty good chance she finishes the fight in the early rounds because she has great submissions. She's really strong. And if she does able to control Weili, she might not gas herself out, because she's not like a Merab, where Merab takes people down, lets them get back up, and then takes people down. He's got the gas tank to do that. So once she gets that takedown, it's going to be hard for her to gas out, because she can just, I mean, it's going to be boring, but she can just rest on Weili. Weili's not going to get up. I think Tatiana's a lock. And I'm kind of scared of saying that, because I said Izzy is a lock, and I got my teeth caved in. But as far as betting, I'm going to bet this fight. I'm not as comfortable or as confident with the main event with Sean and Dricus, but this fight, I'm going to bet. Well, my money down. Minus 120. I wish I bet the plus 150, but Tatiana Suarez, guys, she's her. I just hope her endurance is there. So yeah, guys, let me know what you think. Leave a comment, like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. Until next time, much love. Peace.